Hey everyone, the popular Canadian ice hockey player Wayne Gretzky once said, "I skate to where the puck is going, not where it has been." Now, when it comes to establishing a success, whether it is investing or when it comes to starting up a venture through your entrepreneurial journey, it's important to understand how the companies create growth. How do companies grow? How do they generate revenues? It's very, very important to understand that before we put our capital and energy and effort behind the ventures. How do companies grow? There are real life examples I'm going to bring in this video. So stay through till the end to understand how different companies have grown over the last 10 years, 20 years, as recent as last 5 years. There are only two ways companies can grow. It can be organically or it can be inorganically. What do I mean? Organic growth is when the companies grow through its own products and services, different ways, in innovating through different ways, how the companies grow itself through its own products and services. Inorganic growth means companies look outside for growth in terms of acquiring companies, in terms of products and services, taking over products and services that they don't have. Now, what are the four types of organic growth a company can achieve? There are through four ways a company can grow organically. It's through new product launches, increased unit sales or marginal revenue, geographic expansion, and price increase. Pretty simple, although the naming sounds a little alarming. The first is new products or service launches. As the name says, when a company is able to continuously innovate and come up with or launch new products or services that is in demand in the market, that is the organic way of growing through new product launches and services. The best example out there is Square or Cash App. The second method, I'll explain that in detail. The second way of organically growing is through increased unit sales or marginal revenue increase. I'll explain the case of Tesla in that example. The third case study is geographic expansion. How do companies successfully expand and grow geographically, expanding through international markets? The Netflix is the best example out there. The fourth is price increase. How do companies grow? Through pricing power. The pricing power can be established only if you have a strong consumer franchisee or a brand equity or customer stickiness or retention power. The inorganic way of growing, there are four ways. Again, through mergers, through acquisitions, through strategic partnership or joint venture partnership, and through strategic alliances. Let me get into case studies of each of this. Square is the best example when it comes to new product launches I could think of. The company that started with a small device, which we all remember like a square-shaped device as the name says, for enabling merchants to process payments, credit card payments or debit card payments, that started in the last decade, has grown organically through new product launches, constantly innovating under the leadership of Jack Dorsey. Now, Square launched initially it was a merchant enabler for payment processing. It went on to establish and launch a new product called Cash App. In 2013, the name was different. It was called Square Cash. Square Cash was launched to compete with Venmo, which is a competing product from PayPal, or a Zelle, which is used for P2P transfer, that is peer-to-peer transfer, right? Today, we all know Cash App as a transfer agent. It is an easiest way to transfer if you want to transfer money to your friend or family or friend, anybody through a business medium as well. Cash App initially started as just a person peer-to-peer transfer, integrated business into it, wherein the merchants can set up the Cash App accounts, and it integrated the payables, receivables. It integrated lending. It integrated people to it enabled people to buy stocks through Cash App. Then it launched Bitcoin. People could buy Bitcoin through Cash App. Then they integrated through a card launch, debit card Cash App branded. And last year, 2021, Cash App launched Cash App Pay, which was more like the QR-based contactless payments. So it has been constantly innovating, and it has created a flywheel ecosystem. Square plus a Cash App. Square is the original terminal processing payment processor, and Cash App is a P2P transfer plus merchants who can establish Cash App accounts to get same-day settlements and all of that. It has become a financial ecosystem, right? People can even buy through a Cash App account, they can buy stocks, they can buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin revenue has become a major share of Square's revenue as a company. Now today, Cash App is the number 3 grossing most downloaded apps in 2022, just in last year. It has become the third most downloaded app, just behind TikTok and Instagram. Would you believe that? And Cash App has created a revenue share. It's currently 50% revenue share of Square companies. It is from Cash App and integrated services. So they have been constantly innovating new products and new services and new functionalities, right? That's a success mantra of Square. When it comes to the second example is increased unit sales and marginal revenue from that. The best example you can think of is Tesla. Now look at the screen. Tesla, what it started as a roadster brand. Roadster was the first one it created in 180 for a 182K price range. Has gone up, and it was as recent as last couple of weeks. Tesla could cut the prices of its many models up to even 40K, which makes it in the affordable range for many people in the middle class segment across the globe, right? So Tesla's growth has been phenomenal through its increased unit sales volume growth, right? Look at the volume growth from 2012. The chart shows from Statista. It has grown up almost 400-500 times. It sold just 2600 models in 2012, and in last 2022, as of last year, it has sold almost 1.3 million, and is expected to touch 2 million sales volume this year, right? So it has been a stellar growth just through sheer unit volume growth, and because of the demand and the pricing power, as well as it has the brand image. Tesla has brand image through zero advertising. Tesla does not advertise. It is through just word of mouth and brand image it has created through the CEO Elon Musk. Tesla has shown stellar growth of unit volume. The third one is geographic expansion. Best example out there is Netflix. Netflix has grown, what started as a domestic streaming company has grown internationally. Except China, they're pretty much in every country in the world, and they have been increasing the subscriber count internationally and domestically like anything, right? In spite, 2016 they had 89-90 million. They have doubled to 203 million subscribers in 2020, and now it crossed even to 20 million subscribers, right? So Netflix generates 55% of its revenue from international markets. It surpassed the domestic growth, US and Canada growth, which contributes almost 45% to the revenue share. Now that's surprising, right? When it started, like 6-7 years back, it has grown to become more than the domestic revenue for Netflix. That shows the geographic expansion power. They could capitalize the markets they expanded into, except China. What the success mantra has been for Netflix is making customized products, customized streaming content, and local content in local languages, whichever country they entered into, based on the local taste they could acquire. It's a very difficult business to grow, in terms of expansion geographically, and they could do it very successfully. The fourth way of growth is through price increase or pricing power. Now mostly we know pricing power is associated with strong brand retention, right? Strong consumer brand retention, brand equity. When it comes to a brand name, a consumer could spell it out as a default product. When it comes to the pricing power, such companies have strong pricing power. I can give you many examples, but like Louis Vuitton, Nike and all, but typically sometimes the pricing power, the brand image in such a way that they become a verb, like taking an Uber or Googling for something, like Google search, taking a Xerox. It becomes almost an action or a verb, right? So that is a kind of brand equity it establishes. Now I'm going to bring an example completely surprising is Prime, Amazon Prime, right? So Amazon Prime, what started as a skeptical, when it was launched last decade by Jeff Bezos, it was considered with a lot of skepticism. It was received with a lot of skepticism. Now, but it has proved otherwise. Look at the pricing power of Prime. They increased, you can see the chart. What started at $79 in 2005 became $99 in 2014, and it became $119 in 2018, and as late as last year, 2022, the price went up to $139. So almost doubled from what it started, right? But look at the Prime's growth in subscriber volume, right? It started with just 1 million, close to 5 million subscribers in 2008. It has grown up to almost 20-40 fold, whichever period you take. It has grown up to 200 million subscribers, And Prime has been successful because of one important factor which people don't get it. It is the amount of value it created for the subscribers. Look at the way they started. Right? It started with free shipping, 2-day shipping, then it expanded to 1-day shipping, same day shipping, then they added Prime content, they entered into the content business with originals, they added more and more channels, more and more languages, more and more international expansions for the Prime membership, right? And it has been successful internationally as well, just like Netflix is. And even Netflix and Prime, Amazon have the pricing power, and they have most of the organic growth factors here. They can continuously innovate with new products, new launches, new services, new functionalities. Then they could expand geographically successfully. Amazon has been successful through its international expansion. Same is the case with Netflix. Both has tremendous pricing power in terms of the subscription and subscribers growth. And you name it all, they have all sort of organic growth potential, and that's why that brand image and the amount of value these companies are adding and the great management vision it has. Now, in terms of inorganic growth, let's take merger. Merger has not been a very successful strategy, if you ask me. There are not many examples I could get it. Maybe the only example I could get which has been a long-standing merger success is ExxonMobil. Exxon, which was the largest producer, and Mobil, which was the second largest oil producer, they could combine in United States. They completed the merger in 1998, and it's been one of the most successfully running long-term venture, almost 22 years. It has been running successfully, although it did not create too much wealth for shareholders. It just quadrupled, potentially. But ExxonMobil has been one of the most successful long-running merger without turbulence that has been running. So I could take that example. But I'm not a fan of mergers when it comes to investments. The second best example I can think of when it comes to acquisition is there are many examples which has been successful in terms of acquisitions. The best example has been Google. Now, Google acquired, purchased Android in 2005 for a meager $50 million. That is one of the bullseye investment done by Google through acquisition. Android has easily been most successful when it comes to smartphones because it gave a easy plug and play process for Google to enter into the smartphone industry, and thereby creating almost 85% market share for Android in that market, right? It just was acquired for $50 million, but the amount of return it created on that investment has been humongous. And the second successful investment from Google or acquisition from Google has been YouTube. In 2006, Google acquired YouTube for just $1.5 billion. Another brilliant investment from Google, acquisition from Google. And YouTube has been the #1 platform when it comes to video streaming in US and across the world. Except China probably, right? So YouTube, it almost contributes to 10 to 11% of Alphabet's revenue today. So that has been the tremendous success it has seen, and which is close to $29 billion. And the funny thing is, YouTube is growing 35-40% year on year in spite of such a large base of $29-30 billion. And so what a success it has been, right? They paid $1.5 billion. They're creating yearly revenue of $30 billion, and that is one great acquisition from YouTube. Similarly, there has been other acquisitions by many companies, especially in the digital age. It has been a great success. Salesforce is one other example I can think of. There are many other companies which has created great acquisition strategies and been success there. The third way is joint ventures. Joint ventures typically happens when it comes to automobile industries and large industrial companies, right? The best example I can think of is Renault and Nissan. Two giants in their own countries, one from France, one from Japan, wanted to expand geographically into the international markets, untapped markets, and they created a joint venture. It's been running successfully for 2 decades now. Renault and Nissan has been able to make inroads into many new countries, many untapped markets successfully. Nissan owns 15% in that joint venture, and I think Renault holds for 43%. Now, the focus has been global expansion synergies, and they were successful in creating that synergy. So I would say that's one of the best example I can think of in that category. Now, finally, when it comes to strategic alliances and partnership, this is more of a retail play. I've seen typically retail markets. Best example I can think of is Starbucks and Target. There are other examples like Walmart and Subway, but let's see Target and Starbucks. They created almost 1,300 Starbucks stores in Starbucks cafes in Target stores, and that has been a very good successful model, replicated by many other retail giants in creating that JVs, right? So joint partnership. So Target, many people who are Starbucks fans enter into the Target stores to buy a coffee. There are no drive-throughs mostly there. That converts, people who are traveling, they want to get a Starbucks coffee, they enter into Target, they end up buying things from Target stores. It has created mutual synergies and has been a successful joint venture. Same as Walmart and Subway to a great extent. So there are similar joint ventures that has created growth, inorganic force for growth for companies. Now that brings us to the end of the video. Now you would have probably understood by now, how different companies has created different growth arenas. Growth is important when it comes to investing, whether you are a PE, VC or public investor, or looking for acquisitions, or looking for synergies, or looking for organically growing. These kind of models can help you with like a blueprint to replicate and create that success for your own businesses or for your own investments for that matter.